Liam, hardly the type of opposition you want to come up against in the current run of form you're in. What's your reaction to that?
Well, to be honest, Nick, this is my 5th year managing the Conference Premier, and I can honestly say now, Grays, a good few years ago when they had the likes of Kightly and Wrexham under Dean Saunders and early part of Andy Morrell, and Fleetwood when they won the league, I've never seen a team actually that good as we've seen tonight. I don't know whether they played 1 up front, 3 up front, 5 up front, because the full-backs were like wingers. And I used to say 2 seasons ago when Vaughan and the lad who went to Shrewsbury were the best full-backs in the league, well, them two are by far the best I've seen. They were like constant wingers all the time, and you know what? I said people would turn around and look at the result. Saturday we let ourselves down. Tonight we never. Tonight we actually dug in. We tried. We were committed. No one's head dropped. I think it was Charlie Barnett put the most effort in a game I've ever seen him put in. He just didn't stop working, and it mattered to them. And I said, I'm not going to come out and have a go at them tonight. No, not one iota, because I said, they left the club today at 10-1. They got here at 6:30, and every one of them. No, I'm not going to turn around and say, football wise we were good enough, because we weren't. I said, but we come across a team who are far, far better than us, and I can't come in and criticise players and say, this wasn't good enough, that wasn't good enough, can't do this, you can't do that. We've just been totally and completely outplayed. I said, reality, we look at the scenario when you say, well, days of Burnley in the Premiership, or when Blackpool were there and they go to Arsenal and they get, they know them games are damage limitations. The only problem we've got is that we should have had more points on the board, whereas we can have accepted coming here and giving it a right good go. But as it pans out, we're already in a position where we're feeling vulnerable, and shame we got a great start, but we couldn't hang on to it. And in the end, the whole 90 minutes appeared to me to be sort of like attack against defence, and you've got to turn around and say, give Gary credit, because what he's put together here is a fantastic footballing side, but they've also got a killer instinct up front. And what he was saying the other day, they got beat here the other day 6-1, and he said in a game where they should have completely won, could have easily won, and it was just one of them things. But to that, I've got to be honest, we were second best right from the word go, but again, the players give me everything.
So the effort was there, but improvements needed quickly, aren't they?
Yeah, I said the only problem I had the same. It seems to be we're changing all the time, and we're changing. That's our own downfall. We're changing because we're having sendings off. We've had another send off. You can't condone the tackle, but to be fair to Sean, he's frustrated. He probably wants to play more, and one thing and another. And it's a bad tackle, and the referee's got it spot on. He had no choice but to send him off. I said, all of a sudden, we're down to 10 men again. But we haven't learned, because in the games when we've already gone down to 10 men, which we went down to 10 men on against Welling, and that cost us 2 points. We went down to 10 men against Southport, and that cost us points. So again, you keep on making excuses, but it's not like we are constantly shooting ourselves in the foot from finishing games with not the same amount of players as they are.
We've talked about players coming in. Do you feel that is the answer, that you need to recruit players to get this season going, or do you still think that actually these players are good enough, but they're just underachieving?
Well, how long do you say someone isn't good enough? I was just saying, I look at some people there and go, well, if I'm being brutally honest, can you judge anyone on tonight? Well, I said all you can say. The one person I have to say I'm really, really delighted, and the response was Edgy. I thought tonight, I thought some of the saves he pulled off were outstanding, and he showed that he was a proper man's man. He's took it on the chin, he's bounced back, and he's put a performance in. But as I said, we can't keep making the same mistakes, and as I said, it's the games, the likes, the points against Welling and then Dover and Dartford, they're the games that stick in my throat, not tonight.
Will we see new faces coming in before Saturday?
Well, again, we're just going to have to evaluate from tonight. I said, obviously Godfrey's still got to serve one match, which doesn't help you. You'd like to think Mike Fenwick should be back, as he's looked a threat. But I said, I don't always think, first and foremost, let's change something, because there is a couple of players we'd like to bring in, but at the moment, Nick, they're not fit. The players who I'm talking about, and they're not fit. So do we just bring someone else, and then a couple of weeks later they are fit, and then, I understand games come thick and fast. We've got Barnet, we've got Alfreton. Games are coming that thick and fast. So we've got to actually make sure, in every game. I know Saturday's going to be extremely tough because we're playing the top of the league, but it won't be as tough as it was tonight.
Finally, financially, do you have money available to, if you say to the board, well, I could do with this player in the loan market, is that available, or is it a case that you have to do a bit of wheeling, dealing to get players out before that's available?
Do you know what? A lot of the time, as a manager, you get given a budget, and you agree to the budget, and you actually work to try to maximise as much as you can from the budget. Since I've been at Telford, everything I've asked for, the boards have given me. So I'm not going to turn around and say, I'm not going to talk about budget, I'm not going to talk about, part-time, full-time. I'm not, reality. It's easy for me to deflect, and I'm not going to do that. I said, Lee, the chairman, and, I've had backing all the way. If anything, I'm probably over budget now. But, there's always a bit, as much as your title is manager just doesn't mean you manage the pitch. You manage every aspect of your job, and one part of my job is managing the budget. And in terms of, I wanted to bring Josh in because Godfrey's is suspended and we need that little bit of aggression. So I've done that by letting Sam Smith go to Brackley and Josh Hancock go to Whitton. Josh needed games. I said, so that's how you manage. So in effect, if I was going to bring in, I said, I'm not then going to leave a load of people sat behind the dugouts and not playing. I've already said, I've sent a circular around saying, we've got players available for loan, and if something come up that we can and get better and we can move one out, well, yeah, obviously I'll look at it. I said, but are we going to get better? The only issue is saying, where do we go? We've got the best of the Conference North here because we won it. So then you say, well, where do we go to get better? So do you want to go higher? Well, the problem that you've got in this league, better players than our players want to be in a surroundings like Gateshead, where they've been off work all day. Ours have been on a coach. Some of ours have been in work from 6 o'clock this morning to get off at half day at 12 o'clock to actually come up here, and they won't get home till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then they're back in work at 8 o'clock. Whereas Gateshead will probably report for training on Thursday at 10 in the morning. It's a huge difference. It's not an excuse, it's a difference, and it's how we can, you try and compete, and then you look at players. People tend to forget we had a lot of players last season who stepped up from lower levels into the Conference North, and they've had 1 year in the Conference North, and now to take him to this level again. But from my point of view, you turn around, Adam Farrell for one, the goals he got last season. At the minute, he looks like a player who's struggling confidence-wise. So, what do? Do you let him play through it? Believing, he's done well for the club. He's obviously one of the best in the Conference North. How are we going to, he's a man, he's physical. You can go to a league club and take a kid at 18, 19, and he probably wouldn't charge you. I said, is he going to do as well? No, the answer's no, he isn't. I said, so sometimes the harder job is to actually let them play through it, and hopefully they'll come out the other side. Obviously, you come back to the thing. I fully understand, that we needed more points on the board to actually let people bed in. Which, you look at Edgy, you could say now. So, last year he didn't play enough football. He was number 2 to, McKeown at Grimsby, who was probably the best keeper in the league. So he was never going to get in the team. But you take a year out of your career, it's hard to actually bounced straight back in. Stephen Ackers had a major operation, so he didn't kick a ball from January. And again, has it caught up with him early doors? You probably say it probably has. I said, but what I do know is when he's fit and he holds his own at this level. I said, it's just giving everyone an opportunity. And I keep on saying, like, I'm not the threats anymore. To say, oh, if you don't do this, we'll move them out. Actually, we're going to have to try and help them. And it's harder to turn around and say help them. And if you believe, I said I stood by Tony Gray all last season, but you've seen now this year he looks like a conference player. But I've known that because I've seen it. And I said maybe last year he didn't, but he still chipped in with what he had to do. And it's too easy for everyone to turn around all the time and say, well, let's go and swap this player, let's go and swap that player. Who'd have thought Mike Fenwick would have made the impact in the conference as he did? Because last year, he showed it in spurts, but he was suffering with an illness. Now he's all settled, and now he looks like he's going to score in this level. If you would have said Mike Fenwick would outscore Adam Farrell, you wouldn't have believed that. So it's who adapts to the level. But as I said, there's a lot of people out there tonight who had big hearts and a lot of pride, and they give me everything. So I'm not going to be critical.